Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done. When you're in need and don't know where to go, pick up the phone and call mom.
All right, so welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and every week I'm bringing you guys a new topic all about everything real estate and mortgage. So today I'm going to actually talk to my homeowners out there. We're going to talk about equity. What can you do with the equity? What does it mean for you? Home values are definitely up. They are once again on the rise. Should you be buying right now in this market? Should you be holding out? What is going on with the market? How many listings are out there? How's our inventory levels? We're going to be going through all of that today right here on Mortgage Mom Radio. Now, I want to remind everybody that this is an interactive show. So if you do want to participate, you want to ask me questions, I'm going to read them out loud. I'm going to answer them for you. You can put them right into the stream right here on YouTube or Facebook. I keep trying to get the Instagram to work, but it doesn't like the size of the video. So we can't quite get it in there for that square setup for Instagram like we can, like we're actually recording for YouTube and Facebook. So for now, those are the two that we are streaming on live when we are doing the show. I come on every week on Wednesday, right around 1 o'clock. Today we're a little bit delayed. I did mention in my show a couple of weeks back that we had just made a move. So we have been working on getting the lighting right, the sound right, and everything else. But the best way to know that we have gone live is to get that text message. That way you don't miss a show. If you want to opt in, you want to get that text message once a week, and you want to know when we are live so that you can interact and you can ask those questions, you have to text the word mom, not opt in, no quotation marks, just the word mom, M-O-M, to 844-935-3634. That will opt you in to get that text message once a week. Now, I sent out an extra text message last week because I did want to remind everybody that if you don't want to be opted in, you don't want to get those messages once a week, I am not here to spam you in any way. So you can just reply to the next message that you get from me, stop, and it will actually take you off of that list. I can see that Therese has jumped on. So hey, Therese, thank you so much for joining and being part of the show. So remember to ask any questions that you have. That is why we are here. That is what it is for. We are talking all about real estate and mortgage every week. Now, to keep things easy for everyone, the same exact phone number that you would call, that you would text to opt yourself into the text messaging, that's the same phone number to reach our office. So once again, that's 844-935-3634. That's 844, we lend for you. WELEND and the number 4. We want to hear from you. We want you to call us. We want to do loans for you. We want to be of service. We want to give you guys those free consultations. We are here for education and to get you guys rolling in the right direction, whatever that might be that you guys are working on. So Armando Lopez jumps in. Armando, so great to see you. Haven't seen you on in a little while. So thank you so much for joining. And again, today we are talking to our homeowners about equity and how that's actually a game changer for you. Mark jumps on, says he gives me the hands up. So thank you so much, Mark, for joining. Living My Life in Reverse says hello. Tom Udell says, hi, Debbie. Thank you always for your help. Tom, you are very welcome. And it looks like you and Carrie had some great conversations yesterday. So thanks for reaching out. And Nicholas jumps on and says hello. So Nicholas, great to see you as well. It's nice to see some new names in the chat. And again, this is interactive. So please feel free to ask your questions. That is what this show is for. So And sorry, I moved away from the mic for a second. So I did pull up some articles that I do want to talk about, because today we're talking about how equity is a game changer and whether or not you should be thinking about selling in this market, the reasons why you should be thinking about selling. We'll talk about buying a new home, maybe some of those downsides as well. I am very straightforward. I want to make sure that you guys get all of the information that you need to make the best decisions for you and your family. So also Heidi jumped on and she says, hi. Also, Heidi, good to see you. I haven't seen you here in a little while, so good to see you jumping on in with us. But let's get to it. Let's jump right in. So this was a fabulous article that if you are actually subscribed and you get my news articles, this is one that you would have received in your inbox. It should have gone out to you, I believe, yesterday. But it's a great one and it's got a lot of really good information. So I'm going to read this article to you guys and we're going to talk through it, because I think these make for the best shows is when we've got solid information to talk about. So we're going to just start it off. It says, if you're a homeowner, you might be torn on whether or not to sell your house right now. Maybe that's because you don't want to take on a higher mortgage rate on your next home. So we've talked about that, and that is definitely something that many homeowners in today's market would love to sell. They'd love to buy something new, but they're holding out because they don't like what the interest rate would be on the new purchase, and they don't like where the new monthly payment might end up for them. Karen also jumped on and says, hi, love the news articles. Thank you, Karen. I like them too. I think it gives us a direction to keep moving towards and get the information out there. So it's definitely become a fantastic tool for me to use. So we're going to talk about all of that as we get through this. If that's your biggest hurdle, understanding your equity may be exactly what you need to help you feel more comfortable making your move. What equity is and how it works. So I'm sure the majority of you, if you own home, you know what equity is, but we're going to go through all of this. Equity is the current value of your home minus what you owe on the loan. And recently, that equity has been growing far faster than you may expect. Over the last few years, home prices rose dramatically, and they gave your equity a big boost very quickly. While the market has started to normalize, there's still an imbalance between the number of homes available for sale and the number of buyers looking to make a purchase. And it is because homes are in such high demand that prices are back on the rise today. So I did mention that at the very beginning of the show, and that's why we're doing this show today, is that home prices are definitely back on the rise. They are not slowing down. They are going up. We did have a minute there where things did start to come down, and we did see some, price decreases, but we are now starting to see those prices go up. We're starting to see multiple offers. And that is because of the imbalance of homes that are available on the market today. So because the article mentioned that, I pulled another article that I do want to give you guys, some information on before we keep going on that article that we just, started, right? So this one says there's only half the inventory of a normal housing market today. Wondering if it still makes sense to sell your house right now? The short answer is yes, especially if you consider how few homes there are for sale today. You may have heard inventory is low right now, but you may not fully realize just how low or why that's a perk when you go to sell your house. And then they go into graphs and they start talking about, how many are available compared to the same week last year. Supply is down roughly 10%, and it was already considered low at that time. So 2019, we had a lower inventory level, but that was closest to normal that we've ever had. In 2020, inventory did drop a little bit lower, but then it started to improve as interest rates were falling and going very, very low, and more people were making those moves that they wanted to make. Now, 2022, inventory was low, and we've been complaining there isn't enough inventory. And now 2023, inventory is even lower. So that was, again, another article that I just wanted to kind of bring to your attention, because it's nice to know that you're hearing this in multiple places. It's not just one person giving you the details. And there are still many, many home buyers out there. So I pulled another article that says Home buyers are still more active than usual. Even though the housing market is no longer experiencing the frenzy that was so characteristic of the last couple of years, it doesn't mean today's market is at a standstill. In actuality, buyer traffic is still strong today. The showing index is a measure of how much buyers are touring homes. The graph below uses the index to illustrate buyer activity trends over the time to help you put today into the proper perspective. So obviously you guys can't see the graph that I'm looking at, but it shows there's seasonality in real estate. If you look at the normal years in the market, shown in gray, there was a consistent pattern as buyer activity peaked in the first half of each year during the peak home buying season in the spring and slowed as each year came to a close. When the pandemic hit in March of 2020, that trend was disrupted as the market responded to the resulting uncertainty shown in the blue in the middle. From there, we entered the unicorn years of housing, shown in pink, which again, you guys can't see. But this is when mortgage rates were record low and buyer demand was sky high. Similar seasonal trends still existed even during that time, just at much higher levels. Now let's look at 2023. Traffic is down from the previous month, and it's also lower than the peaks we saw in the unicorn years. But what's happening isn't a steep drop-off in demand. It's a slow return toward more normal seasonality, as the showing time report explains. So again, to give you guys, the idea is that we have way less inventory on the market. We've still got buyer demand. Your home has a ton of equity. Property values are on the rise. And so what can you do with that home equity as a homeowner? How does that benefit you? Are you worried about moving into that next property because of where interest rates are at? But let's talk about how much equity that you have and how you can utilize that equity if you were to sell your home. So it was a very cool article that I sent out. And again, it's I think something that is very important to talk about right now in this market, because I think that it does affect many of you. Anybody that is a homeowner could be in that place where they're hoping to upgrade, they're trying to move up, they're trying to move down, they'd like to downsize, and they're thinking maybe I shouldn't. But I don't know that you're all taking into account the amount of equity that you have and how you can utilize that equity. And then, of course, always refinance when interest rates do come back down to get that payment even lower. So we're going to take a super quick break. And when we get back, we're going to jump into all of that. We're just going to keep on going. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Debbie Marcoux, the Mortgage Mom. Have you been thinking about buying a new property or buying your first property and you have no idea where to get started? Well, it's our job here at Mortgage Mom Radio to educate you and to get you that game plan to get you moving forward. Give us a call. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Or head on over to our website to mortgagemomradio.com. You can book yourself an appointment right there. It's a free phone consultation and we'll get you started and on your way. Hi, this is Debbie Marcoux, the Mortgage Mom. Are you a homeowner swimming in debt? Do you have a very low interest rate on your mortgage and that's what's stopping you from doing a refinance to get that debt paid off? Give us a call. Let's talk. Let's go through the numbers. Let's see if there's not an opportunity to get that debt paid off and still save you money every month. Let's get your cash flow back in order. Give me a call. The number is 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Or head on over to our website to mortgagemomradio.com. All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. Today we're talking all about homeowners having equity and is right now the right time to sell. I do want to remind everybody that we have got a fantastic referral network of real estate agents all across the country, and we can absolutely help get you put in place with a realtor who will give you discounts on their commission fees if you decide to list and sell your home with them. So please do not hesitate to reach out to our office if you are interested in selling. Not only that, but we need to get you pre-approved if you're going to buy another home. So we can help you with that piece as well. I did already mention in the commercials our phone number, but I'll mention it one more time. It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Now, one thing that many of you guys have not done in quite some time is actually we haven't talked about the mortgage app. So Mortgage Mom Radio does have a mortgage app, and it is a tools app. So you can go to the App Store and you can find Mortgage Mom Radio in the App Store, in iTunes or Google Play. But that is actually for you to begin your loan application with us once you're going through the system, getting your pre-approval going, getting your disclosures, signing your disclosures, uploading documentation. But we do actually have a tools app where you can play around with numbers. So if any of this is sparking an interest to you and you're thinking, maybe I could sell my home, take the equity, roll it over, take some cash, pay off some debt. And we're going to go into all of that here in a minute. What would a new payment look like for a home that I might be interested in? Our phone app has all of those great calculators that you can utilize to give yourself an idea of what you'd be looking at in today's market with today's interest rates. If you don't know what interest rate to use, if you don't know what property taxes, what percentage to put in, to plug in, if you don't know what number to put in for homeowners insurance, those are all things through that phone app that you can send us an email, and we're going to reply back to you very quickly to give you those numbers to plug in so that you can play with those calculators on your own. So how do you get that phone app? Well, the same telephone number that you call, the same telephone number that you text the word mom to get the opted in for the text messages once a week when I do the show, you would actually just put in phone app, 2 words, PHONE, and then app, APP. You will get an automated link back for that tools app, the Mortgage Mom Radio tools app. You'll get a link, you can click on it, save it to your home screen, and it is now on your phone, and you can utilize all those calculators. You can call our office, you can email the office. There's a lot of great tools in that phone app, so don't hesitate to do that if you guys want to kind of play around with numbers and not be hassled. We don't call you if you're using that phone app. We don't even know half the time who's using it, but it is there for you to be able to utilize until you are ready to actually make that initial reach out to us, whether it be through the website or by phone or by text or by email, whatever your preferred method of communication is. If you're not quite ready to get there, that tools app is really amazing. So text 2 words, phone app, APP, and you will get the link to get the phone app put on your phone. And once again, that same number is 844-935-3634. Okay, so let's get back at it. So we're talking about how much equity you guys have today. Why is it a game changer? How can you utilize it? Why should you be selling in a market like today? So let's get back to it. So in the article that I had actually sent out, it says Americans sitting on tremendous equity. 68.7% have paid off their mortgage or have at least 50% equity. So think about how much your home has increased in value. You know, if you've got 50% equity sitting in that home, that's quite a bit, but 68.7% of Americans have at least 50% or more equity in their home. So that is huge. And you guys need to learn how to leverage that equity. Many of you have called and you've got credit card debt. You've got personal loans. You've got car loans. You have student loans that are coming back to repayment here very shortly if they haven't already restarted. Many of you have tax debt. So you might owe, IRS some taxes, and you're looking for a way to get all of that debt taken care of. But you don't want to get rid of, the mortgage that you have. You like your interest rate. You don't want to refinance it. You don't want to pull cash out. And when you do a cash out refinance, you can never get 100% of the equity out of your home. So you're still limited to how much cash can you get out of that property. But if you were selling that property, you'd be getting out 100% of your equity that you've got available, minus your closing costs, of course, your seller's fees and things like that. But that's a lot less than what the percentage is of what we're allowed to lend lend to you for a cash out refinance. So that might be a really great way to go. Espolan Locos, haven't seen you on in a long time. You said looking hot as ever, and thank you so much. That always makes my day. I love your comments. And again, that's great that somebody actually just commented right now. If you guys have questions about anything that I'm saying, please feel free to put those questions into the chat. That is what we are here for. This is interactive. Happy to read the question out loud and give you the answer that you are looking for. So I'm going to keep going with this. 68.7% have paid off their mortgage or have at least 50% equity. So that is a humongous number. That means 70% have a tremendous amount of equity right now. Once you sell your house, you can use your equity to help with your next purchase. It could be some, if not all, of what you'll need for your next down payment. It may even be enough to allow you to put a considerable larger down payment on your next home so you don't have to finance quite as much. And if you've been in your current house for years, you may have even built up enough equity to pay in all cash. If that's true for you, you'd be able to avoid borrowing altogether. So you wouldn't have to worry about today's mortgage rates. So I liked that part of the article. There's so many ifs and what can you do with the equity in your home. You might have enough equity to be able to sell the home and go buy something else cash. We have a lot of people that are moving to another state. They're moving to lower cost areas. And so they're selling their home and they're taking the equity and they are paying all cash and not financing whatsoever. We have others that are putting way more money down than what they thought that they would have been able to, which is actually keeping their monthly payment quite similar to what they're already used to, even with the elevated interest rates. And as I mentioned a little earlier, you would have the opportunity when interest rates do come down to refinance that loan and drop that payment even further. We have many people who are selling their home. They're taking a significant amount of the equity and utilizing it for the down payment, but then they're taking a portion of the equity and they're paying off debt. They're getting rid of that extra burden that they have happening. They've got monthly, it's recurring. They can't get rid of it. They don't have the cash that they need to pay those debts off. But once those debts get paid off, it relieves them of so much additional monthly cash flow that the increased monthly payment on the new house, on the new mortgage, is still lower than what they're paying for all things combined today. So their lower interest rate and lower monthly mortgage payment, plus all of those other monthly debts, the car payments, the student loans, the credit cards, the personal loans, the tax payment to the IRS, whatever it is that you might have going on right now, if all of that was eliminated, and even if your monthly mortgage payment did go up, you're probably still in a much better cash flow position monthly. So all things to give you guys something to think about when how can you leverage and how can you utilize the equity, and should you be selling in today's market? So let's talk a little bit about that as well, because one of the things that is important is, am I selling at the right time? Well, right now, the market has very, very little inventory, like I mentioned when we first started the show. The inventory levels today are the lowest that they have been in, I think, forever, to be honest with you, but they are definitely the lowest that we've seen in many, many years. We've got more buyer demand than we do actually have homes on the market. Many homes right now, as I also mentioned a little bit ago, are going overpriced, multiple offers. It's once again happening even with elevated interest rates. So if you are a seller that wants to put your home on the market right now and you want to sell, the opportunity to sell quickly, to sell at a fantastic price, and to cash out that home is an amazing opportunity. As interest rates do start to come back down and more people feel like it's the time to execute, sell, buy, move, get a better interest rate on a mortgage, there's going to be more properties come to market, which means that you will have more competition in your listing than what you would have in today's market because of the shortage of the inventory at this time. Being completely transparent with all of you, I just made a move. I just sold my home and we bought another home, and I cashed out equity. I paid off a a bunch of debt, put a really nice size down payment on the new property. My mortgage is still roughly the same as what it was previously, and that worked out fantastic for me. I was on the market for 1 day, and I got multiple offers and sold my home at full value that I was asking, which was significantly more than what the last home in the neighborhood sold for. And we just did this within the last month and a half. I mean, we literally moved a month ago and sold the home 2 months ago. So just to give you, even that person that just did it, I know I can talk to you guys, I can tell you about articles, but being somebody that just went through it, that is exactly the experience that I had. And I am definitely feeling a lot less pressure. I'm feeling a lot more relaxed. I'm smiling again, to get that monkey off your back and to get those debts paid and to be able to move forward and kind of start fresh. So it was really a great opportunity, one that I think that many of you are not considering, but I hope that with today's show, this might be something that would bring that consideration to light. Sandra jumps on. Sandra, so great to see you. She says, hello, Debbie, Sandra here. Sandra, it's so good to see you. Sandra is a client of mine that, we're talking, we go back at least 20 years ago. So Sandra, so great to see your name there. And again, if anybody has any questions, please reach out. Let me know you're here. Let me know that you're watching and get me those questions. I'm happy to answer them for you. So we're going to take a super quick break. And when we get right back, we're going to keep talking about the market today and the inventory and where you might be able to price your home. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Carrie Young with Mortgage Mom Radio. Did you know there are multiple home loan options available with little to no money down? Whether it's conventional, VA, FHA, USDA, or down payment assistance, let us find a loan that's right for you to get you into a home with minimal out-of-pocket expense. Give us a call. That number is 844-935-3634. That's 844-WE-LEND-FOR-YOU. That's WELEND and the number 4. Or visit our website. That's mortgagemomradio.com.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona, 0941504, Florida, LO76508, Georgia, 69178, Idaho, MLO 208023, 7926, Illinois, 0310058339, Missouri, North Carolina, I210940, Nevada, 57237, Oregon, Tennessee, 184373, Texas, Washington, MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom.
Mortgage Mom here. Hey, if you're a homeowner, you've probably got some equity in your home. Do you have debt that you need to get rid of? Well, give us a call. Let us take you through that blended rate calculator that I always talk about. Let's determine if it makes sense for you or if you should keep what you have. How do you do that? Well, book your phone consultation. Go to our website at mortgagemomradio.com and you can book your call right there. Once again, that's mortgagemomradio.com. All right, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. Once again, I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and I am bringing you topics about all things real estate and mortgage once a week right here on YouTube and Facebook. Then the sound gets sent to radio for the weekend. If you are listening by radio and you want to be interactive, you want to see me do it live, you want to get in and be part of the show, you've got to know when I go live, which is to get one text message per week. So text the word MOM to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Same phone number to call our office. You can go to our website with any questions you might have to send us an email. It's mortgagemomradio.com. So it's, that's the website, mortgagemomradio.com. But you guys can get us however you prefer to communicate. We're happy to do that with you. So one question we did get during the commercial break was Diosa says, what are the current mortgage interest rates? So that's a fabulous question. One that I get every day. Mortgage rates right now, and I'm going to give you a very big range, and then we're going to talk about it. So it is very difficult to answer that question because every single loan type, every single borrower with a different credit score, every single borrower with a different amount of down payment, Every single borrower buying something different, a single family, a manufactured home, a condominium, a 2-unit, 3-unit, 4-unit, every type of property, every type of borrower, every type of loan gets a different interest rate. So it is very, very difficult to answer that question and to just throw a number out there. And that is why you guys will never hear me run commercials that are like, call now, 3.99% interest rate. And then you call and you find out rates are 7, right? I just don't do that kind of marketing because every single person, the rate is individual to that person. There's just no way for me to market something that doesn't apply to everybody. I just don't feel right about it. But interest rates today are going to range anywhere from a 6.5% range as high as 8.5% to 9%. And again, it's going to depend on the type of loan that you are doing, what your credit score is, how much is your down payment, the property type. Is it a condo? Is it a single family? Is it manufactured? It's very, very difficult for me to answer the question. The high interest rate, so that 9% mark, is going to be somebody that is not showing typical, normal, conventional paperwork to qualify for a loan. So if you are self-employed and you're doing a bank statement loan and we're qualifying you based on deposits, not tax returns, you could be in an interest rate that is around the 8.5% mark. If you are an investor and you can't qualify, you don't want to show the tax returns, but you're trying to buy an investment property, a new rental property, you could be in an interest rate that's in the 9% range if we're just qualifying solely the property itself. Do the rents cover the mortgage? If you are an FHA buyer or a VA buyer, those are government programs and they typically will yield a lower interest rate than a conventional loan will. Those are going to be in the high 6s at this point in time. If you're a jumbo loan and you're looking for money that is much larger than what the county loan limits are for the area where you're looking, you could be in an interest rate around 7 to 7.5%. So it's very difficult to say or to answer that with, in the way that you would want me to. But you're looking somewhere between 6.5 up as high as 9%, depending on the type of loan you're doing, the amount of down payment that you have, the property type that you are purchasing, the income that you are providing. It all changes what kind of interest rate that you would get. So like I mentioned before break, if you guys want to utilize those payment calculators, you can get to them on my website. You can get them from the phone app. But if you want to utilize those and kind of play around on your own to kind of see where interest rates might end up, you can easily email us, text us, call us, run the scenario past us. What do you think your credit score is? How much money do you have down? Can you qualify by showing us your pay stubs, W-2s, or your tax returns if you're self-employed? And then we're going to give you a good average interest rate to use when you're running those numbers to try to see what those payments might look like. Heather jumps on. She says, hi, everyone. So Heather, thanks so much for jumping in. And then Diosa says, why is it that better the credit, the less assistance? I'm a first-time home buyer and don't qualify for the home buyer assistance. It's frustrating. So Diosa, it has nothing to do with your credit. So the higher that your credit score is, actually the better you're going to get as far as an interest rate is concerned. There's going to be more loan programs available for you. So actually your credit is not what is disqualifying you from a down payment assistance type of loan. So there are first-time buyer loans that are, low down payments that have nothing to do with income, but the down payment assistance programs are pretty restrictive when it comes to the amount of income that you can earn to qualify for those down payment assistance programs. They're looking for that low to moderate income earner that doesn't have the opportunity to make enough money to save what they would need for a down payment and closing costs, and they're trying to help them to be able to get into homeownership. Now, I know that sounds terrible, and I agree. I'm just relaying how it works and what, their reasoning is behind those programs. But even in today's world, even if you're making moderate to higher income, it can be very, very difficult to save for that down payment and that those closing costs, which we do know and we do understand. We do have some down payment assistance programs that do not require you to be within certain income levels. So if you are interested, give us a call, talk to us. You can go to the website, you can book an appointment right there. It says phone appointment. Pick the day and time that works best for you. We're going to call you, talk through your scenario. What is your income annually? And then what programs do we have available for you? You can call into the office anytime. You do not have to have an appointment. We'll get you, on the phone with somebody right away, and you can go through your scenario with them as well. The majority, so I want everybody to hear that word, the majority of down payment assistance programs do have income limits. However, there are down payment assistance programs that do not. So depending on where you're buying, the county that you're buying in, the city, the state, will determine which assistance programs are available, and then is there one that you will fit into. There's not just one program out there. There are numerous programs out there from many different entities. So we just need to talk to you to try to figure out which one is going to work best for you. So I hope I answered that question for you, but keep them coming. I'm loving your questions. They're fabulous. And that is what this show is all about. I want to make sure that I'm bringing the information to my listeners. If you're thinking it and you have the question, the chances that there's somebody else out there with the same question is a very high percentage. So ask away, because every time I answer a question for you, I am answering a question for many. So please, thank you so much, Diosa. That was awesome. Now, getting back to what we were talking about before, should you be selling? Why should you be selling? Is it a good time to sell? If you are a homeowner, you are sitting on a tremendous amount of equity, as I've mentioned over and over again. I keep using that word tremendous, but it really, truly is the right word for this. I want to kind of keep going through that piece. But if there is a question that is not related whatsoever to this subject today, that's okay. Ask the question, because it doesn't matter. Mortgage has a million different hands, tentacles, and arms that go in so many different places that we want to make sure we answer everything. So I don't care if it doesn't have anything to do with this. Please ask the questions and we're going to get the answers to you. So here we go. I pulled another article. And again, I'm pulling these out because I just want you guys to hear it over and over again to know that this is really reality of what's happening today. Now, what's going to happen tomorrow? Who knows, right? Things can change like crazy very fast, but this is where we are today. And this is actually but what we've been watching for the majority of this year. And it doesn't seem to be changing. So everybody was kind of waiting for the bottom to fall out. Property values were going to drop. They were going to go down. They were going to execute then. They were going to buy a home at that point when property values did drop. We did see a very small drop. We saw about 10% correction, and now we are seeing them go back up again. So this one says equity improves, and this is from July 27th of this year. Okay, so it's not a couple weeks old. Equity improves for U.S. homeowners as housing market boom shows signs of revival. So here we go. Irvine, California, July 27, 2023. ATTOM, a leading curator of land, property, and real estate data, today released its second quarter 2023 U.S. home equity and underwater report, which shows that 49% of mortgaged residential properties in the United States were considered equity rich in the second quarter, meaning that the combined estimated amount of loan balances secured by those properties was no more than half of their estimated market values. So that goes back to what I was saying a bit earlier in the show, was that, 68% of homeowners today either have a mortgage that is completely paid off or they have at least 50% equity in their home. The portion of mortgaged homes that were equity rich in the second quarter of 2023 increased from 47% in the first quarter of 2023 to the highest point in at least 4 years. With home prices rebounding across the U.S., the report found that the level of equity-rich mortgage payers went up from the first quarter of 2023 to the second quarter of 2023 in 45 of the nation's 50 states. So again, there are going to be some pockets that maybe aren't going to see the same amount of appreciation. There might be some pockets that are actually seeing declines in values. It truly does depend on where you are looking, the state you're looking in, the county, the city that you are looking in. You might be seeing a different story than what I'm talking about. But 45 of the 50 states is seeing home prices rebound. The gains followed 2 straight quarterly drop-offs, so I mentioned the 10%, caused by a temporary slowdown in the U.S. housing market that had threatened to end a decade-long run of price and equity growth. The second quarter upturn marked another sign of how the market shift has helped homeowners as home seller profits also spiked. While equity-rich levels rose in the second quarter, the report also shows that less than 3% of mortgaged homes in the U.S., or 1 in 36, were considered seriously underwater in the second quarter of 2023. That meant they had a combined estimated balance of loans secured by the property of at least 25% more than the property's estimated value. So there are still some people out there that are upside down in their home, but that number is very, very small in comparison to what we saw in, 07, 08, 09 during that, crazy meltdown that we had. Just 2.8% of mortgaged homes were seriously underwater in the second quarter of this year, also the lowest point since at least 2019. The latest figure was down from 3% in the prior quarter and 2.9% in the second quarter of 2022. The second quarter market revival bestowed immediate benefits on homeowners around the nation in the form of better profits for sellers and rising equity for those staying put. Equity levels were high even during the recent downturn, and now they are going back up and better than ever, said Rob Barber, CEO for Attom, ATTOM. It is well worth nothing that the market remains in flux, and the recent improvement could easily be temporary. Lots of changing forces are at work affecting whether boom times are really back, especially amid a recent increase in mortgage rates. But with the 2023 peak buying season still underway, it seems that homeowners can reasonably expect their household balance sheets to grow a bit more in the near future. Equity for U.S. homeowners improved in the second quarter as prices for single-family homes and condos nationwide rose throughout most of the country, reversing a market slowdown that had run from the middle of last year to the early part of this year. Nationwide, the median home value shot up 10% in the second quarter to yet another all-time high of $350,000 after dropping 7% over the prior 3 quarters. So I can keep going. It's a very long article, but you guys are hearing it over and over again, and you're hearing solid data that we are on the rebound. Home values are starting to go up again. We have very, very short supply of inventory. We do not have enough. We have got demand. We've got buyers that do want to buy right now. And we've got homeowners that have a ton of equity in their property. So it is a fantastic opportunity to be able to sell, to cash out, to get that equity out. As they mentioned in the article that I just read, we don't know what could come tomorrow. Things could shift in a heartbeat. We could see, property values decline. When that happens, your equity declines. The amount of cash you could get out of your property would be actually less. So this right now is a great time to strike if you are a seller who has been thinking about selling a home, but has kind of been on the fence and not sure if they should. And again, we need to talk with you, and we need to talk about what would a new mortgage payment be, but what can you utilize that equity for? How much equity do you have? What price home would you be moving into? How much of that equity would you be putting down? So would your mortgage balance actually drop from what your mortgage balance is today, surely by the additional equity that you have that you could put down on the next purchase? Can you take some of the equity and, like I mentioned earlier in the show, can you pay off some of your debt? Can you get some of that relief and get rid of those monthly mortgage payments that are burdening you today? Take the rest of what you have left for the down payment and the closing costs, and will you end up in a better cash flow position on a monthly basis? Because that's really what it's all about, right? We all earn money, we all make payments to live, and it's about getting our cash flow to the lowest level that we can get it to. So if you are a homeowner who's got a super low interest rate, you have absolutely no debt, and you are in no rush to move, by all means, stay put, stick it out, wait, see where the market goes. If you sell today, you're going to, and you're going to go get a new mortgage. It's going to be, a higher interest rate. Maybe that doesn't make sense for you. But for many of you, it absolutely does make sense. And striking while the iron is hot is the best time to do it. Now, buyers thinking about buying, many of you, again, as I mentioned, you guys have been on the fence for a long time. You've been waiting for the market to kind of drop from underneath of its feet and, possibly for property values to come crashing and tumbling down. At this point in time today, it's not appearing that that's going to happen. We actually saw the slowdown. We saw the property values start to come down. And then we actually are now starting to see that rebound again. So we aren't seeing that that's happening, but you've put your purchase on hold. You've put your purchase on hold. I want you to take a minute, buyers, and I want you to think about if you had bought a home when you first started thinking about buying. What were the home values at that point in time? What could you have bought the home for? What is the home's value today? What are you going to pay for it today? Putting that time to the side and putting that goal on hold has lost you how much? So how much longer are you going to continue to hold out? How much longer are you going to continue to wait until you are completely priced out where you will never become a homeowner? That's probably not the right thing to do. And I want to circle back to interest rates will come down. And I'm not going to tell you they're going to come down by the end of this year. I'm not going to tell you that they're going to come down in 2024. I'm not going to tell you that. I personally, mortgage mom, my opinion, being in this business for as many years as I have been doing this, watching all of these articles, doing this week in and week out and day out, watching everything that is taking place with the stock markets, the mortgage-backed securities, China, right? Just kind of watching everything unfold. I mean, I personally don't know that we'll really see interest rates at a place that would be worth doing a refinance if you took a mortgage today. I don't know that we'll see interest rates at a place that's worth doing a refinance to drop the rate and drop the payment until maybe the end of 2024, maybe even beginning of 2025. Now, I could be absolutely wrong. And I said on the show 2 weeks ago that I thought it was going to be about 14 to 18 months. And that's probably about end of 24 to beginning of 25. So the most important thing to be factoring in right now, buyers and homeowners. If you sell the property, you want to make sure that you are in a position that you can afford the payment that you would be taking today. Buyers, if you're buying a home today, first-time buyers, you want to make sure that you are taking a payment that you can afford on a monthly basis, not counting on the fact that interest rates will come down and that you are going to refinance it and drop the payment to get more comfortable. Let's get you comfortable, and then when interest rates come down, then you refinance and you get an even lower monthly payment and you are benefiting even more at that time. So I do want to make sure that you guys are taking it into the right perspective of what we're trying to say. I'm saying it's a great time to sell right now if you've got debt, if you want to get things paid off, if you have a ton of equity, something that you might be buying or downsizing. You'd be able to take the equity out of your home, roll it into the next home, have an even lower loan balance than what you've got in today's market, or maybe even getting just that cash flow under control. Maybe it's a similar mortgage, maybe it's a higher mortgage, but by paying off all of the debt from the equity that you cashed out when you sold the home, now your monthly payment is actually better on your cash flow basis monthly than it was with your current mortgage and all of the outstanding debts. So just something to think about. And I do want to remind everybody, as I said at the beginning of the show, we've got a network of real estate agents that we work with. All of them are fabulous. We've been working with them for many years. We have agents in many states that we can refer you to. So if you are a home seller who is looking to sell, or even a home buyer that is looking to buy, we can get you set up with a referral to one of the real estate agents. We do not take a referral fee in any way. These are people that we trust, that we have worked with, that we know are going to work hard for you and get the job done the right way. They have offered, all of them that we have on our panel have offered to give discounts to sellers selling and buyers buying to help them with closing costs and, the just the simple seller's cost of selling and the commission fees, and a buyer's cost in purchasing a home. So, many of them will give a referral fee that goes directly back to the buyer. through the closing of the loan to help towards closing costs. And that can be a pretty significant savings for you if you have enough for the down payment, but you haven't come up with enough for the closing costs. Or for a seller, maybe you're going to do 2 transactions and they're going to give you a discount on the commission for the sale, and then they're going to also give you a credit towards your closing costs for the purchase. That's huge. So we want to make sure that if you guys are thinking about doing something, working with selling a home or buying a property, that you call us and you get a referral to one of the agents that we work with. So once again, I'm going to mention it. How do you guys get a hold of us? It's 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend For You. WELEND and the number 4. Make sure that you guys subscribe so that you are watching the show. You're seeing me do it live on YouTube, on Facebook. This is not pre-recorded. You guys are getting me how it is, taking the sound and then later sending it to the radio for the weekend. So for all my radio listeners on Saturday or Sunday, please make sure if you guys want to do this with us live, you want to get interactive, you want to ask your questions, make sure that you are opting in to get that link once a week to know that we did do the show, that we're starting. Again, you're going to text the word MOM, MOM, to 844-935-3634. You can text that same exact phone number, phone app, so PHONE, and then second word, APP. You will get a link to get the tools app that we have. So as I mentioned earlier, if you guys want to play around with things, you want to see where would a monthly payment be if I sold my home, if I bought the house at $1 million, if I put $500,000 down. You want to kind of play with that to see what it might mean for you on a monthly basis. Use our tool app. It's great. It's got all those calculators in there. Plus you can email us. You can set up a phone appointment. You can call us. You can do all kinds of stuff on that tools app, but the only way to get it is to text phone app to that number. So once again, it's 844-935-3634, and you take control. You start figuring out if anything that I said today makes sense and if it's something that would be a good option for you. Remember, you can go to our website to book an appointment if you'd like to talk with somebody on the phone, but you know you need a certain day and a certain time. So go to the website, go to mortgagemomradio.com. You can book an appointment right through the website. You can do that through the phone app as well. So whichever is easiest for you. You can call our office and you can get somebody on the phone immediately. We'll talk to you. We'll do the consultation with you, whether you're buying a home, selling a home, doing both. We will do the phone consultation with you and make sure we get you started in the right direction. You need that plan. You need to know those numbers. You need to know what you're looking at before you can execute anything. With no plan comes no movement. You'll never execute. You'll never finish. So the goal will never be obtained. So do definitely get the consultation or call our office or send me an email from the website or send me an email from the phone app. Ask away. Join the show. Be part of it every week when I do this on Wednesdays. Ask those questions. It's the best thing you can do. But I really do hope to hear from all of you. So with that, I'm going to end today's show. I will be back again next Wednesday with a whole nother topic, whole nother thing, more information for you. Last week, we talked about 1031 exchanges so that you can try to save on the tax implications of selling the investment, but you're not really quite ready to buy another property. You're kind of tired of maintaining that investment. You don't want to pay taxes on the capital gains. So we talked about DSTs. If you've never heard of that, go back and watch the show. You can see it on YouTube. You can hear it by podcast. The week before that, we talked about, more additional information and what's going on with the market. So stay tuned. I love that you guys are here. I love that you're joining. I love that you're interactive, and I'll be back again next week. I hope you guys all have a fabulous rest of your week, and I'll see you Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Institutions and MLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida LO 76508, Georgia 69178, Idaho, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom.
Mortgage Mom here. Have you been thinking about buying your first home and you just don't know where to get started? We'll book a phone consultation with either one of my loan officers or even me. How do you do that? Well, go to our website. Go to mortgagemomradio.com. Right there, you'll see a book phone consultation and get on the books. Talk with us. Let's get you started from beginning to end. We'll walk you through that process. That's mortgagemomradio.com.
She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.